Hey guys, welcome back. Here Mgtow looks back at his marriage and finds out how happy he is alone. Let's listen to his experience.
Hello, Mgtow. I'm Stan Andreas, and here's my story. Fair warning, it's pretty long, since it covers about 35 years of my life as a mangina. This was surprisingly hard to write, because it meant owning some unflattering things about myself, and because I don't want to seem like a downtrodden victim. I created my situation, and take responsibility for it. If any of this seems like excuses, please call me on it. I may need another red pill or two. I know many of you have had much worse gyno nightmares than me, but this one's mine. Also, please note, no children were harmed in the production of this tale. I was born in the mid-1950s, a middle child in a dysfunctional suburban family. My father died before my second birthday. My mother was an alcoholic and my stepfather was kind of a dick. In my 20s, Mom sobered up, divorced my stepfather and went her own way, but that's a story for another time. I grew up a bit of a loner and introvert. I had friends that I hung out with and activities and girlfriends, but I've always been comfortable in my own company, and not super eager to seek people out. I got married at 25, to a girl I met in college. We were best friends and drinking buddies, and she was a lot of fun. We settled down into the typical professional couple lifestyle, with jobs and vacations and social events. Gradually, I gave up more and more control and autonomy. All our friends were really her friends, most of whom I didn't like much, and most of our activities were her choice. My best friend was slowly but surely becoming my only friend, while I wrapped myself in chains that I paid for. After 12 or 13 years of marriage, I was getting very disillusioned and unhappy with my job. My wife, meanwhile, had built a pretty successful professional career of her own. With my support and encouragement, she started her own business and was doing quite well at it. I started helping her out part-time during her busy season and came to enjoy the work as well. Eventually I quit my high-paying but unrewarding dead-end job, and joined my wife's company full-time. Now my utility value plummeted. I was still good for fixing stuff, lifting stuff, dealing with mechanics and contractors, and being the designated bad guy, all of these things both at home and at work, but I no longer filled the ATM function. My wife's boss role became more prominent, both at home and at work. Everything became a test, which I usually failed, because her tests generally had no right answers. I came under criticism for what I read, watched, said, laughed at, wore, and how I drove. She would harp about me gaining weight, but always encouraged me to overeat whenever we went out, which was quite frequent. Any protest from me would bring down an unholy shitstorm of butthurt, about how she was only trying to help me and only wanted to make me happy, by force, I guess, and a thorough examination of all my human flaws and especially my overwhelming selfishness and ingratitude. I would invariably cave in, and grovel in apology. Yes, I was a total beta pussy mangina, trapped in an economic and psychological prison designed, built, and maintained by me. Meanwhile, we were no longer drinking buddies, as my wife drank enough for both of us. One of my principal functions was permanent designated driver. From time to time, she would get especially out of control drunk, and unload on me, screaming about what a loser asshole I was. These confrontations never once got physical, but they were pretty devastating to me. Although once or twice she apologized after such an incident, usually they were my fault. Despite drinking to the point of slurred speech every night, my wife was a dedicated health and fitness fanatic. She had fallen in with a fitness cult and worked out several times a week. I had less than zero interest in this and refused to participate, although of course I offered plenty of beta pussy mangina support. Among her gym and professional friends were a number of people who maintained significantly more lavish lifestyles than us. Naturally, this created a lot of envy and resentment as to why these people had bigger houses and nicer cars and took better vacations than us, never mind that some of them had serious financial problems including bankruptcy. Somehow, all of this came about through some failure of mine. Brief sidetrack about hypergamy. My wife claims that she never cheated on me, and I believe her. She did however point out more than once that she had had plenty of opportunities to do better than me. So there's that. I was eating the steady diet of shit, and getting nothing in return except a job and room and board. Sex was all but non-existent, unless she wanted some. I once pointed out to her that she had to get drunk to want to have sex with me. She responded with her set script for any criticism, which was to deny it and blame me. One time I called her on her deny and blame strategy. She denied it and blamed me for it. You see, it was always about me because I'm such a selfish prick. Well, throughout this whole time I grew more depressed, apathetic, passive and helpless. Finally, I hit bottom and realized this would kill me if I didn't get help. I confessed up to my wife and told her I had never been a happy person, and didn't know how to be happy, and that I had reached the point where I didn't care about anything including myself, and I was resolved to seek professional help. I thought this was kind of a breakthrough and thought my wife would respond with relief and support. She wanted me to be happy, right? Nope. I had broken her heart. I had never been happy with her, and I didn't care about her, and it was all about me. Holy shit. I followed through and found a counselor who made an enormous difference in my life. He helped shake me out of my passive patterns and regain control of my life. My wife continued to hold it against me that I broke her heart, but I started to feel better about myself and slowly chipped at my prison walls. My wife got a counselor of her own, but I never observed any changes as a result. We did go to a couples counselor as well, for a couple of months, a woman, of course. I began to see a pattern in our sessions where I was the one who had to do all the changing. By then I had recovered enough self-respect to speak up about it, but of course my wife denied it and blamed me. After a couple of months of this, the couples counselor wanted to meet individually with us. Topic number 1 on my agenda: why do I have to be the one making all the changes? Counselor told me straight out she thought I was the softer target. Goodbye, couples counselor. My wife moved out of the house, Christmas Day 2011, to give me time and space to figure out what I wanted to do. I still worked for her, so I saw her every weekday anyway, but at least I didn't have to deal with her at home anymore. I continued to see my own counselor, and continued to regain my confidence and dignity. One morning I was sitting in my house enjoying the peace and calm, and I realized I actually like my life now. No one telling me what to do, say, think, eat, read, etc., and no risk of anyone suddenly going batshit crazy and screaming at me. My home was actually a safe place, and I liked it that way. The next day I told my wife thanks for giving me all that time and space, and I had made a decision and I want a divorce. I think she really expected me to back down and get my mind right, as I had always done before. The only explanation I would give her was that I was tired of trying and failing to be whatever she wanted me to be, and that it looked like she was going to hold breaking her heart over me for the rest of my life, and I just wasn't going to spend my life that way. From that point on, I refused ever again to explain myself to her about anything. I had learned from hard experience that why is not a question, it's an invitation to an argument. Sorry, I am unable to attend your argument today. So I have been living on my own for almost 4 years, still digging the peace and calm and solitude. From time to time, I entertained notions of someday meeting another woman. Whenever that came up, I immediately flashed to all the BS and games and wasted time, money, and effort and thought, not today. Then I saw a post about Mgtow in a forum I frequent, and it all came together. I saw myself in all the YouTube horror stories. And just like that, whoa, light bulb, I knew my path. No more BS, not today, not ever. I am a free man, and I'll stay that way. Thank you. Thanks for reading and thanks for being here. I look forward to contributing to this community and paying forward the help I find here. Cheers, Stan Andreas.
Here it is, guys. Marriage doesn't make any relationship better. If it is with a career woman who do not want a traditional role, it is going to be the greatest disaster. Be careful, be safe out there. What better way to save a brother than sharing your story? Send your stories to redpill.story@gmail.com. Contribute at patreon.com/redpillstory. Contribute directly through PayPal at redpill.story@gmail.com. If you like to hear more of these experiences, comment, rate and subscribe. Don't forget to bang the bell. You can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/storyredpill. Find me on Facebook at facebook.com/storyredpill. To avoid attacks from social justice warriors, follow me on gab.ai at gab.ai/storyredpill. Cheers. See you tomorrow.